Well, hello. Welcome, Gonzalo.
Hello,
Can you hear me
hello.
okay? Yeah.
Yes,
Hopefully
I
everybody can
can.
hear us. Um, Welcome and thanks for taking time out to join us, show off your new game,
Thank you for
your
having me.
expansions and all that good stuff. Just kind of checking
There's
to see if
plenty.
I'm just checking to see if anybody wants to tell me that the audio's off. Can everybody hear me okay? Just making sure. Last time it started off a little rough, but I can hear Gonzalo.
Hmm.
He can hear me. Hopefully everybody can hear us both together. Um, So, for those that don't know, Tang Garden was designed in 2020, I believe. Let me see if I get the names right. Francisco
Francesco Testini
Testini,
and
Testini.
Pierluca Zizzi.
Yeah, thank you. Includes elements of tiling, set collection, got variable player powers, some drafting. The overall goal is designed and landscape a garden with majestic vistas to be gazed upon by the ultimate nobleman.
That's
So,
correct.
right. What can you tell us in your mind, real quick? Like what sets Tang Garden apart from maybe other tiling games or stuff in this area?
Well, I guess that the story of the game is funny. It was all about a thing about chance. I met Francesco Testini at a convention after a few things, and we sat down and we said, okay, we like this mechanism of tile laying. Let's try to build more a vertical scenery over it. So when we started working with Tang Garden, we decided that we didn't want any boundaries like productions, illustrations. We just wanted to make a game that we wanted to play. And it's good that you do that, but you need to be very careful about how do you create a game. But in this case, it was an enlightening experience for us, as it was definitely the hardest and the one that gave us the more knowledge about how to be a publisher, right? Because you make mistakes, you try to understand them, and then you adapt. And this game has meant a lot from us. And so for a tile laying is a tile laying, but for
Right.
us it's much more. And we hope that we can at least give a piece of the experience in this stream, so our viewers can understand a little bit how the game works and what it means to us.
The first one, I'm looking at the funding. I can't see it. I was gonna give a credit. So almost 1 million, 10,000 backers for the first one. That's really good. I'd say that
Yes,
puts
the
you on the
first one
map,
was
and or at
our.
least, yeah, for sure.
We were not prepared for that, for sure.
Oh,
We
really?
were expecting much less, and it was a surprise when you work so hard on something with so much love, and just people react so positively on it. And that means that after a while, when we launched this title and we released it on retail, we sat down and we said, okay, what do we want to do? Do we want to move on and do new things, or just do we want to give Tang Garden a final chapter, just to say, let's close this whole story with something very good to us, and that we will be able to play the game more. And that's why we decided to give Tang Garden one more chance with seasons that adds different concepts and different mechanisms to the game.
It's
We sat
modular
down
too,
and we
right?
said, it's quite
Seasons is
modular.
modular.
Yet Ten Garden was created and designed with the intention to be as modular as possible, so we can expand it. Um, but eventually, what Seasons adds is a few mechanisms that we love to see in other games. So we sat down and we said, okay, let's try to make something out of worker placement. And then we designed it, we tested it, and then we changed it many times until we said, okay, this is a scenario that can go. And we did this with many mechanisms, and many didn't make the cut, of course. But we selected these 6 scenarios that are very different from each other and that add more rules to the basic gameplay of Tang Garden.
Right. There was 2 big expansions and a couple 2 to 3 add-ons, and this is so what, the 3rd full-sized expansion?
Yes, I mean
Okay.
the first when we launched the first campaign, we unlocked several stretch goals, and we decided to collect them in a single box called Golden Age. And during that campaign, we had our deluxe edition that included an expansion with a little bit more player interaction, so direct interaction, and that was Ghost Stories. So Season is the third and final expansion, but is the biggest for sure.
And all of those obviously are available to get, again, for people who are new. But we're kind of here to do a little both and talk about what you guys are adding. So with the new expansions, is it standalone or can it all be integrated?
So the base game is definitely required, as we have the board and the player boards and a lot of elements that are crucial to Tang Garden, like pavilions or bridges. All the base game characters are normally played in every scenario in Seasons. And what Seasons adds is another set of characters. We started with 4. We're now towards the 9th character or we already unlocked 9 characters. And the idea is that you can definitely take all the season modules and play them by itself, or then again take the components of each season and combine them with previous expansions as you please. Of course, there are a few rules, as the game is very modular, but you need to follow certain rules to make the game work in a way that you will enjoy combos and different things. But it's there, very easy to follow, and we have had many of our previous backers coming up with great ideas of small scenarios made with combination of elements.
That's great that you listen and take their feedback too. It's one of the things that makes crowdfunding so helpful.
And it's almost required for us because when we create a game, it's something that we enjoy definitely, and we feel that our community might enjoy it. And when we launch it, we receive a lot of feedback of what can be improved and in which way. And sometimes feedback is super valuable and make us change stuff. And that is great because at least, of course, this is not a pre-order, so they are not receiving it after a month. It's much longer, but at the same time we have at least the time to talk with them and understand what they like, so we can make a game they will feel proud of.
Well, speaking of that, let's look at it via TTS here.
And
you can tell us what we are looking at.
All right, so you might click, you should click the base game that you see over there, so you can get rid of this screen.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, so in Seasons we have several different scenarios. We have autumn, that leaves are falling, you need to pick them up, and then you can decide if you can keep it or donate it. And we have the cooperative mode and worker placement, even bidding. But today we're focusing over the winter. So it's starting to get really cold, and we need to improve the Imperial Palace roof. So normally in Tang Garden we have only a single tile, which is the central tile. In this case we have a much bigger central tile because instead of being 2x2 it's 4x4, and we have the Imperial Palace. What we will do in this game, so maybe I should explain the basics of Tang Garden first really quickly, and then I can explain how this module behaves. So in Tang Garden, you can do 2 different things on your turn. One of the 2, of course. The first one is expanding the garden, and that means that I will take one of the tiles in the 4 corners. So we have greenery over there, we have a rock, water, and this is the tile corner, which includes at least 2 or more elements in the same tile. For the rest, you will always find that only element. So I can take one of the tiles and place it in any space in the garden that is adjacent of another tile. And when I place, I need to respect that all the sides of that tile will match. So for example, if a tile was like this, I cannot place this one here because since here I'm matching, of course, green, but here is footpath against rock, and that is not possible. So every time I match an element, I will go to my game, my player board, and I will increase that element cube of 1 spot. And this will, of course, allow me to get a new visitor coming, and I will explain that later. The second thing we can do is that we can decorate. And by decorate, I mean getting some cards from the decoration deck. That will always be 2 cards plus 1 card for each corner we cannot see. So that means that in this case, it will be 2 cards as usual. And then since there is only 1 corner that is not showing a face-up tile, then that will be a 3rd card. And then after this, I will be able to decide which one I want. And this is a very simple set collection. So for example, the trees, the more different you have collected, the more coins you will get at the end of the game, and coins are just victory points. So in this case, let's say I want to get a tree. I will get this card, I will bring it near my player board, and then I will get the corresponding decoration and place it in the garden. In the top right corner of the decoration card, there is a symbol, and that is the placement location of a location where the decoration should go. At that point, there is a greenery placement available in the garden, so I will be able to place my willow tree over here. Of course, only one decoration can go on each symbol. We have these different symbols, so we have bridges and we have water. We have rock symbols where you can place other decorations, and each decoration behaves differently. So some of them will have to be paired to score points. Some of them will be based on a majority game. But in this scenario, what we are introducing that is the most interesting is the roof tiles and the roof decorations. So we will be able to, during setup, we will be able to shuffle these ones inside each corner. So we will get this here. These are all roof tiles that will be mixed up with the rest of the tiles. And then when one of these tiles comes out, that means that we will be able to place it on top of the Imperial Palace. So let's refresh all of this. So when a tile comes out that is a roof, for example, this one, we will be able to get them and place it first outside. So you cannot place in the center, you need to build the outside roof. And eventually when all the outside is filled, then we will start building the inside. Every time you place a roof tile on top of the Imperial Palace, you will be able to to get the bonus immediately. So in this case, it's 1 victory point and 1 rock advancement. Is all clear for now, Thomas?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is how the roofs work. And then as you can see on this tile, we have a circled white symbol, and then on other piles we will find this other symbol, which is a square, a yellow square. And this has a meaning. So you want to place roofs to get bonuses, but at the same time you want to place roof accordingly to what you're trying to aim, because we have these dragon statues that we will be able to place them in the Imperial Palace corners, and these statues will be able to score points at the end of the game based on how many symbols of each type they are seeing. You will get the symbol that you see the most. In this case, it will be, of course, this one because it's 2, and then you will multiply that by 2, and you will get a final score out of that. But placing a dragon on top on one of the corners is not easy, because we need to go for decorations and collect roof decoration cards. As you can see here, we have the blue one. So if I collect this one and then I find another blue, then I will be able to place my dragon in the blue corner. Eventually, by having 3 decoration roof cards of different colors, you will still be able to place the dragon in any of those 3 corners. You only have 1 dragon, and you can only place a dragon during the game.
Right.
This is an overall of the 2 basic actions of Tang Garden and how the Imperial Palace work. But of course, we also have the visitors, which are a crucial part of the game. We all start with 1 visitor. one character. So I have the poet and you have the student. So let's focus on your character for now. So the student has an active ability and a side preference that you will be able to score at the end of the game by placing the student inside the garden. So the active ability says that every time that you advance on your greenery track, so by matching green over the garden, you will be able to get a coin, which is a victory point. Moreover, at the end of the game, the student, if you place it in the garden, he wants to see tiles with greenery. So let's say that this situation is like this. We managed to place a bridge over here, and you have your student right about here. So if you place your student over here, at the end of the game, you will be able to score 2 points for each greenery tile that the student sees. In this case, it's only 2. So it will be 4 points and 1 additional point for each decoration in line of sight. Line of sights for the characters always work the same. So they will look straight up until the end of the board, and they will see every tile in that direction. And then they will also see the entire side of the panoramas, because in this game we will start with a few panoramas already, but we will be able to add more by getting these panorama discs during the game. Your student, Thomas, wants just to see tiles on the board, but there are a few characters, for example, the architect that we have in here, that want to see instead things on the background. So part of the panoramas. So the architect, for example, wants to see constructions, so buildings, and that means that you want to build panoramas that has that yellow icon on it and place it on one side of the board, and then make the architect look at that direction to score point at the game. Oh,
Gotcha.
okay. Can you hear me? I don't know if my headphones are off.
Nope, I hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Awesome.
So I got the student. You want to talk about the player boards a little bit?
Sure. So on your player board, you have 3 different tracks. And these tracks will advance, as I explained, by matching elements in the garden. And then you also have one-shot abilities. As we said, you can expand the garden with only a single tile, but sometimes you can definitely use this tile here, this lantern here, to place a second tile. Or draw a little bit more decorations, or move a character in the garden so you can score a little bit more points, or choose your own character or panorama when you reach the threshold. So information in the player board is narrow. That will be it. There is also a couple of spaces when you will get points if your cube or any of your cubes reach that point. So if you advance with blue here, it will be 2 coins, and over here at the end it will be 5 coins, and this will trigger for every cube you manage to get in that spot.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. So do you want to just play a few turns to get the hang of it?
You have a turn set up for us, right? Or
yes.
Do you want to set one up?
So,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, sure. So let's get this pavilion out. There you go. So we start
any ground breaking strategic decisions.
Yeah, sure. Makes sense. All right. So let's say that I start. And I will go and definitely expand the garden. So I have a greenery tile here, and I have greenery over here and over here. Of course, in the Imperial Palace, we also have walls. And in this game, walls enclose terrain. So that means that if I get this tile and I place it here, I will still be enclosing it. And in Tang Garden, you will get advancements on your player board if you match the element or if you enclose an element. But in this case, I would just do this. And this will give me a green advancement. So I will get my green cube that was at the beginning, and I will get 1 advancement. This is not the end of my turn, because now I will use one of my lanterns, the one I explained before, the 2 tile placements, and I will get a second tile. My second tile will be the temple. This temple counts as a wall because it has all walls on the sides. I will place them here. The temple always will give me 1 coin and will give me additional coins if the sides of the temple touches greenery. So that means with this I will get 2 coins, and since I'm closing a terrain over here, I will also get an additional greenery advancement. Now the interesting fact is that I've placed 2 tiles and now it's your go. But since you only have limited options for tiles, it might be a good time to go for decorations.
With the tile you placed with the temple, it closes that garden off because of the walls, I assume, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
That's
I
correct.
just saw the other greenery and wasn't sure. I had to zoom in. So
Yeah.
and then our choices of tiles, are they always face down in the corners, or when do you flip? A couple are face down because you pulled some out of there, right?
Yeah. Correct. So this one I placed and this one I placed. So those are face down. You will only turn up the tiles in 2 different moments. When you see 3 face down tiles, at that point before your turn, you will turn all tiles face up. And the second way is when one of the players goes for decoration. So if someone places a decoration in the garden, automatically all the tiles are flipped. So in this case, you could definitely go for a tile. You can match water over here, you can match rock over here, but maybe going for decoration could be better because you have 4 cards. Eventually, there is not much space in the garden to be placed. You only have a greenery. But eventually, in this scenario, you can always reserve a decoration below your dragon. So you will be safe if you go for decoration.
Taking that action to take decorations?
So
what am
you
I doing
always
to do that?
you go on the decoration deck and you will draw cards. So you will always draw 2 cards. So let's say 2 cards. That is the normal rule. Plus 1 card for each corner that has a face down tile. So in this case, there are 2. So you get an additional 2 cards. And now you will just flip them and see which one you like the most.
Right.
So you have a couple of trees. These are set collection based on diversity. So what do you want is different trees. And you already have a space over here in greenery and both the trees can go there. Then you have a peony that can also go in greenery. And the interesting fact about this peony is that it will give you a blue advancement. So by placing that flower inside the garden, you will not only get points at the end of the game, but you will get an immediate bonus. And then your luck is showing a blue decoration roof card. Let's say that we have already beginning the game, so we have a couple of roofs over here. And by placing your dragon here, you will be able to score points at the end of the game based on that direction. But of course, you need a couple of these blue decoration roofs. So at that point, do you want to secure points and place a tree? Do you want to place a peony? The peony by itself is 0 points, but if you match with the lotus flower, which is the other flower that goes over the water, you will get 6 points at the end. So you're pushing it a little bit, but you're getting a blue bump. And then this, you're just betting that this corner will be awesome. And of course, you will have to build it towards it.
So this one I have to hang on to a little later, right?
Yes.
So let's go with the peonies or whatever.
The peony. So you will collect the card and put it near your player board.
That's fun to watch. So hang on, because I scroll often. So I just hang on to that for now?
Yes, you will get that, and you will place, of course, you will increase blue by 1.
Right.
Right? So you will move the cube 1 space, and then you will be able to place the peony in the garden. And of course, if you cannot place the peony in the garden, you cannot get the decoration. So the peony is here, and the only place this one can go is over here. And that will be your turn. Now you
Is it on your
definitely
green
want
tile?
to collect.
Oh, that it goes there. What's the
Yes.
syndication or the indication that it goes there? In case I missed it.
So basically, you have the card
Yep.
that shows a symbol in the top right corner. That is a greenery symbol, and you find the same symbol in the garden.
Oh, gotcha.
Sometimes there are no symbols in the tiles, but in this case you had one.
Oh, there it is.
So you can
Okay.
place the peony
Got
over
it.
here.
It's like the leaf tile. Okay.
Correct.
Now, how does that score later on? The decorations? Is it because I own the decoration? I have the card.
You
for
now
it?
own half of a set. So you have
Right.
the peony, and now the next one in order you should get is this one, the lotus flower.
And it'll
So
score
if
when I
you
get the other one only. So
yes, you will only score, but the good thing is that you score decorations at the end of the game, so you have your entire game to work towards what you need.
right.
All right, you went for decorations, so we now flip all the tiles. Let's change this so we can explain something else. All right, so now it's my go. I believe that I will get this tile over here, and I'll place it here. And I'm touching water, so my my blue cube is moving one step. And now I can explain my character, which is the poet. The poet works very similar to your student, but I will get coins when I increase water. So this allows me to get 1 victory point. And that will be my turn. So now you have an interesting choice. You can place a tile in the garden. Now you have a little bit more options. Or go for decorations again. But the problem is there is no more decoration space. This one with a circle is a character spot. So it's not meant for decorations. So if you go for decorations, you will not skip your turn because you will be able to place the decoration you picked below your dragon and place it afterwards. But eventually, yes.
So my student, is he going for like? Give me a rundown on his ability one more time.
So the student will get a coin every time you advance on greenery. So what you want to do is match green. Match green as much as you can.
And I saw
you have a
green,
couple of options here.
Nope. Yeah, what do we got? There's not green, and there's some. I think that's green.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's green. Yeah.
And like this guy could go here, right? Can it? Because there's a wall there.
This cannot go here because there is a footpath. But if you
there's a footpath.
if you flip it,
there we go.
Like this.
But I'm not matching greenery that way, am I?
No, but you are enclosing greenery because this is a wall and wall enclosed terrain. So you will get a greenery every time you match or enclose a terrain. And since you are enclosing this greenery, you will get the this also will work the same.
Right. I'm trying how to rotate. I want to rotate him a little bit. So like, well, I did not want to do just
this.
Maybe because then I can set myself up to hit another green over here.
Yeah, that's true, but then again it will be my turn afterwards. But it's, what you have done is not bad because because I don't have greenery and I cannot place a greenery tile.
That's kind of what I'm looking at, and hopefully they flip, so we'll see. I'll take my chances.
Okay, that's fine. So rule number 1, every time you match a footpath, you will get a coin. So you're still getting a victory point. I will give it to you.
Okay.
And then every time with a tile you touch a golden wall, which is the walls of the Imperial Palace, you will also get an additional coin. So with this turn, you still did 2 points, and you're opening spaces up to complete. So I'll of course go for decoration this time around because it will be 4 cards that I will draw. There you go. And let's see what happens. Of course, I cannot place a decoration, but at least I can aim at something. So this is what I will do. I will get this fish. that allows me to get a green advancement, but not yet because I cannot place fish in the garden. But as I said, I can reserve my decoration below my dragon. At this point, I'm not doing anything on this turn, but eventually, if at a certain point I will place a water tile that can contain the fish, then on the same turn, I will be able to place the tile and then place the fish and get my bonus.
Gotcha.
Since I went for decorations, now we will flip all the tiles. And maybe you have something you might like,
I
right?
do. My green tile right there.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I knew. And this wasn't staged. I want us
no,
to
it
stage
wasn't.
turns so that they work better. That's the ultimate goal as I do these, is that we kind of don't take the guess or take back stuff. You know what I mean? I wanna start having more calculated turns, but hey, that works. I like when it works
Yeah,
out.
that works.
So what do I get for that? So I get
you get a
at the
greenery
side.
because you have
Yep.
matched, and then you get an additional greenery because you have enclosed.
Oh, I did enclose it. You're right. So I move up
Yeah,
2 green
so
cubes, right?
two green, yes.
One,
And since
two.
you are the student, you will get a coin because you have moved your cube.
Is it for each
your
one? So would
green
I get
cube.
2 coins? Or just one
No,
it
because
moves?
it is one movement of 2 steps, right? It's just a big jump. It's still
Sure.
a single movement. So
But
you
I get
get
my
a
other
coin, but you also matched
Yep.
a tile with the golden wall, so you get an additional coin.
So coins are victory
This is
points.
looking good
That's
for
good.
you.
Maybe.
Yeah, coins are victory points. Now, I have something very interesting here that I can do. So I will get this tile, I will flip it, and I will place it here. So I'm doing the same you did, but with rock. So I will get my coin out of matching the Imperial Palace with my tile. And then I will get a rock because I've matched, and another rock because I have enclosed. And if you see on my player board, this allows me to reach the threshold for a new character. In the game, we will start with one character each, and at this point, I can get one new character from the display. So I will get the counselor because this is one of the new characters in seasons that works really, really well with this scenario. And now, since I have 2 characters in front of me, I need to decide which one will go into the garden and which one I will keep for its active ability. In this case, I'm more interested to keep the counselor, so my poet will go in the garden. The only space available right now is this one, but by looking over here with my poet, I'm already getting 4 points, and by placing a couple more water tiles over here, I will be able to get additional points. And that is my go.
Trying just because I don't understand the game yet.
Mhm.
When you picked, what was the choice to pick a new like
So
architect or student?
it was the architect and the counselor. So we have a display over here, and always
what
have
triggered
2
that to make
characters.
you be able to pick those? I'm sorry, I missed it.
You should come to my player board.
Whoop! I'm trying. Okay.
Okay. I aligned the cubes over this character spot. So every time you align your
gotcha.
cubes or surpass, of course,
Okay.
then you will be able to influence a new character.
Perfect.
And
then,
you're very close. You just need a couple of rocks and 1 water.
so you added counselor, right?
Yes, I got the counselor.
Cool.
And now when you get 2 characters, one needs to go in the garden. So I place the poet in the garden, and I will keep the counselor in front of me for
So basically, the
his active
face-up
ability.
one is the active ability.
Correct.
Right.
And, yes, and the poet instead will trigger at the end of the game for the side preference, based in this case on the water tiles my poet is seeing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not lined up on cubes. I mean, does it have to all stop there, or is it crossing
No,
them?
no.
Like if I get,
you need to cross that spot with all of them.
Once I cross all 3, then I've done it. Okay. I'm not doing good on the yellow. So give me some advice here. So I'm not. There is not.
There is a rock here that you can close with a wall, for example, but right.
Mm-hmm.
And you will get a single rock out of that, or maybe I don't know. You can go for decorations and try to.
There's nowhere to put a decoration down. Like there's this leaf over here. Is that a decoration?
Yeah, this is greenery here and another greenery here, but there is no rock, there is no bridge, and there is no water. So going for decorations is risky, but again, you have your dragon. You can reserve.
So
But
are those
now that I
decoration
see
spots
it,
just
maybe
different types of decorations? I missed that too.
yes.
Okay.
There are, yeah, that could be. You have something interesting that you can do with this water tile over here. Because if you place it over here, you will match and enclose, which is not bad. I mean, you need just one water right now for the new character, but having two is not bad.
So that'll close. That'll give me one, right?
Yeah, that will match. That will give you one, and close. That will give you the second.
Oh, nice. So I'm up on the water. And that's all we do on that, right? It's just taking simple actions back and forth. Okay.
Yeah. Now the tiles needs to be flipped. Hey, we have a wall. So let's do this. So here's the thing with my counselor. I got the counselor, and every time I place a wall in the outside of the Imperial Palace, sorry, a roof, not a wall, I will get a coin. And if I manage to place a roof tile inside the palace, that is unlockable only when all the outside is filled, then I will get 2 coins. So that means that if I get this and I place it, for example, over here, I will be able to get 3 coins immediately, plus 1 coin because I'm the counselor. So that will be a total of 4 coins.
I'm the whiz. You get it all. So that's cool. Everything you cover up in the palace, you're going to get. So you have some choices there where to put those.
Yes, you can always choose. I could have put it here, and this will give me a coin and a green advancement, for example, or any element of my choice. And as you can see in the internal part of the palace, we have much more interesting bonuses like 5 coins or recover a lantern that you have previously used.
Are those the same every game? Do any of the expansions change the middle part up?
So let's say that the winter scenario has this Imperial Palace. Of course, all these are separated tiles. So you have the central tile, and then all the other tiles will be shuffled and placed. The bonus are these ones. But let's say that the most crucial part about this scenario, it's mainly placing this wall, not that much for the bonus you are getting, but mostly for how much you can score at the end. So if I place this one here, for example, and I manage to get my dragon here, this is 8 points already, because this is 2 times 2, it's 8 points. And if I manage to get more of these white symbols over here or over here, then I could get up to 20. So sometimes getting a big bonus over here is great, but if I'm aiming at scoring better one of the corners, it's better to place them elsewhere.
Very cool. There are other. So this module, what remind us what this one is called?
This is the winter
module.
So as you can see, there is a little bit of snow on the roofs. We are building up the roof, but of course, there is other that are more joyful, like for example the autumn. The autumn has all the leaves that you will be able to collect. And the interesting fact about the leaf is the set collection aspect of just another layer. So you're playing the base game, but you always have something more to think about. If it is not the Imperial Palace, is the leaf collection and advancing on the alternative player board. And if it's not that, it's probably you want to build pagodas And I think, Thomas, you're looking at the first Kickstarter campaign. There you go.
I was on the wrong page. I apologize. So yeah, that might help.
Yeah, and
I brought
we
that tab up
recently
just to look.
announced.
So
Yes,
go ahead.
yes. We recently announced a new scenario, which is the market, and this adds another mechanism to the game, which is much more open information and things like that. Yeah.
So autumn.
So we explained the autumn basically is this leaves that you will be able to collect when you place a tile on top of a leaf. You will be able to decide if you will donate it or collect it. If you collect it, you will score it at the end of the game. But if you donate it, you will advance on these new player boards that you can see over there that have a few bonuses, a few new bonuses.
Yep. Oh, so winter is the one that places that interior thing. I didn't know that because like I said, I'm a little ignorant to the game. But yeah, that's cool.
Winter is exactly the one we have played for a bit. Right? That you need to construct the roof.
And
then after winter, we have
spring.
The spring, and the spring, this adds an element of action. So every time you place a lantern in the garden, you will get that card. You will place inside the hongbao, which is this red envelope, and then you will choose one of these bonuses on the scoring pad. That might be great amount of advancements or decorations, and then we will start a silent action when everybody will take the coins that they have gathered during the game, place it in their hand, and then the biggest bet will get the bonus. The interesting fact is that the player that chooses the bonus is the only one that knows the bonus. So there is a lot of back and forth between is he choosing a minor bonus on purpose so we spend our money on something that is not useful, or he's trying to achieve something with
just
a big
to try to stop them from getting it, right?
Correct. And at the end of the game, we will have to see which of our characters sees the most lanterns, and then the player that sees the most lanterns will be able to open the hongbao and reveal the content and get all the coins that are inside. So an interesting mechanism that you cannot expect in Tang, but it works. It's very interesting.
It's a unique take on bidding. You're bidding, but don't know what you're getting, like those TV shows. Yeah. And you open the door, and here's a box of cereal. You did not get the washer and dryer. You know what I mean? So summer, obviously, we are all getting close to wanting summer here. That's for sure up here.
Summer is one of the hardest ones, as we are changing the concept of how you play Tang Garden, and you will start playing it cooperatively. So the Emperor is asking us to follow some Feng Shui rules by respecting some request tiles. So in the garden, there will be some request tiles that you need to fulfill in order to win, or you will all lose. In Equinox, instead, we are doing worker placements. So we are adding to the one below the Equinox there. Right. We are adding an element of resource recollection with these workers. So you will place a tile, and then you will place a worker on top of it. And depending on the surrounding tiles you have, you will gather resources like sand and wood and stone. And with those resources, you will be able to construct the pagodas in the corners of the garden that will give you bonuses and a scoring at the end of the game based on majority. And then finally, I think we have the solstice, and this is for expert players that really know really well all the elements in Tang Garden, because we have 9 open objectives that can be achieved by any player at any time during the game. And by achieving so, all the other players won't be able to get that objective anymore, and you will get an incremental, a multiplier of your points on different elements on the game. So let's say that Solstice is the ones that you will play afterwards.
Right. A little bit harder. I like the co-op idea. Is that the only co-op one? I couldn't remember.
It is only co-op. The Autumn has let's say solo co-op variant, you may say, but we are brainstorming new ways to add a little bit more solitaire mode to the game.
Was there solitaire mode in the original? version?
Yes, but it was more of a puzzly experience. You were not exactly playing Tang Garden as in multiplayer, but instead you were doing an interesting puzzle of how to build up the garden. In season, we are showing a new way to play solo mode that is basically playing Tang Garden. It's exactly the same, but just you need to fulfill some request tiles. In here, we can see a little bit more of components that you will be able to mix and match with other expansions. And then, of course, we have unlocked several stretch goals, and all these stretch goals can be used in any of the previous expansions too. We have new panoramas, we have new characters, new decorations, and a few improvements to the components you already know.
Are they changing for the base game? Some of the components, or just
Sorry?
new components being added?
New components, for example, we have the concept of expert character. So you have all the characters, the 12 base characters in the game, and we are adding new cards with much stronger abilities. And now, as soon as you unlock a new visitor, you can decide to get a new visitor, of course, or eventually improve the character you started with. So that is the way we're doing it. What you're seeing right now is the complete collection that includes everything in existence for Tang Garden, including add-ons and so.
Right.
And this, of course, includes Golden Age and Ghost Story, which is the other two expansions. And yeah, we have
I do have a
explained
couple
all of
questions while I
this.
can scroll.
Sure.
Because Rachel had asked how the solo experience is different from the multiplayer experience, or how it's improved with the expansions. Josh kind of further asked on that.
Okay, so the summer scenario, you normally play cooperatively. Everybody plays on its own. So you have your own player board, you will get your own coin and advancements, and the other players will do the same. In the solitary mode, basically you are by yourself. So every turn, every time is your turn. But the interesting fact about this is that you will have to pay more coins to place request tiles on the board. And in the autumn, there is some kind of set collection with the leaves. You will be able to get the leaves, and then you will be able to place them on a special board in a certain order that you need to respect, basically.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mike wanted to support the big box in the late pledge. Was kind of curious if you could elaborate how that's better for you as the publisher. Some people had asked basically why it wasn't available during, and I know you and I had talked, so I was trying to give you a chance to explain again why it makes more sense for you guys to add some items in the pledge manager.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, you can of course increase your pledge. You can decide to pledge all of it once at once, right? But you can also pledge over any pledge tier, and then afterwards in the pledge manager you will be able to get the big box. By doing it later, of course, you will be helping us a little bit more, and we will be able to organize much better the content. As with Kickstarter, of course, we can add add-ons over there, but we are very used to BakerKit and how we can handle it and how we can calculate everything before production. So for us, it will help us immensely if you wait.
Right. I mean, it makes more sense that you would retain some of the more of the profits, and with the margins being as thin as they are, I see no fault in being transparent about that and letting people decide. But I definitely love adding on after. I think I'll actually add on more now after instead of before, just because I learned that from you. You know, if I can give more to the creators, I'm all for it. So we all have credit card fees and everything else we have to pay. So everybody should, you know, be able to relate. Looking at the questions here, Kevin asked, do you recommend all the expansions together, or they pick and choose and should only use one or a couple? Like how advanced, how easy is it to do them all?
So I think that when you play the base game of Tang Garden, you still have a lot of games ahead of you before you understand everything that is behind it. Once you get that, you know that with the state of the board, you will probably be it would be better to get a character and look for something. So as soon as you feel that comfortable with the game, it's time to add Golden Age. And Golden Age has 8 more characters that are super strong and super fun to play. A few decorations more, a panoramas, and 6 playable scenarios that combine all these elements with the elements of the base game to give you a refreshing experience over the base game. And then as soon as you feel ready to tackle on completely new mechanisms, then it's time about adding seasons to the mix. And seasons, you have these 6 scenarios. We recommend playing in order. We are showing the campaign. So starting with autumn and ending with solstice. And after that, you can decide to add ghost stories that adds a little bit more player interaction. So now you know enough about the game to be even a little bit more mean to each other. And of course, that adds Imperial Palace, which is another scenario that adds the spirit animals and new conditions to the game. So let's say that if you want to have a journey with Tang Garden and play all of it bit by bit, you probably have 30 matches or more at this point before you have tackled everything in existence for Tang.
That's a lot of content. I like the scenario idea. Are any of them solo focused, or plans to have some?
We are working on something. We don't want to spoil, but we are working on some solo additions. We know that our Kickstarter backers love to play solo too, but we're balancing things out, and probably if everything goes well during the campaign or afterwards, we will show a little bit more of solo play.
That's fair enough for me. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out to come and show us the game. And for everybody watching, I forgot to tell you there is a giveaway that Gonzo was kind enough to offer us. So basically, if you're watching this stream, tell us in the comments below what's your favorite season and why. Like this video, and that's it. You could win. I made the deadline for Monday for those who can't be here, which, you know, to be fair. So
Makes
you have all
sense.
the weekend to kind of enter. And with that being said and everything, I think we've answered a lot of our questions. We've gone over longer than I wanted, but I think it's a lot of good information. So hopefully this video helps some people decide whether or not this game is right for them. And like, if you're looking for playthroughs, there's a ton out there. I tried to have one ready and I don't. So just, you know, do your Google foo and you can find a longer how to play and should help you from here. So thank you, Gonzalo. I wish you guys the best with the